Story 1. Karen's Museum Mayhem. So, I've been working non-profit in a little exhibition for 11 months now. It's the remains of a 2,000-year-old Roman sanctuary to Magna Mater and Isis Panthea. Our exhibition is run by an organization created to take care of it and which is run almost exclusively by non-profit workers. Since we are run mostly through donations, we often have money troubles and can't improve the way we would like. On October the 20th, I arrived late to work, bus cancellations, and went down so see a single Victor. She asked a few questions about the video and audio we have playing, and I explained it's playing automatically in almost equals 30-minute intervals. She complained that it's only in German and we should add an English one. I told her we have a transcript of it for our guest, but that's just not atmospheric enough, we should add an English one. She was a tour guide for American tourists, and since the Gutenberg Museum was currently moving and the Americans were often bored by our cathedral because it's another bloody church, as she said they would say, she was looking for alternatives and she thought we would be great for it. I proceed to tell her that big groups have to register an appointment and pay for it so one of my colleagues could give them a tour. She thought that just calling that day would be fine, and I said that they would need to call at least a few days ahead so we are prepared and can find someone who has the time to guide them. Something that clearly annoyed her. She then walked to the sacrificial altar and straight up put her hand all over it. I told her to please stop touching. She then tried to argue with me. There isn't a sign, how am I supposed to know I'm not allowed to touch it? Common museum rules, visitors know they're not allowed to touch things unless otherwise stated. I work with museums, I know about them, I'm allowed to do this. No, that's not how that works. And I just asked you to please stop. She then went upstairs and asked about the price for group tours, and when she heard it's €35, she started to get loud and argue. I heard it's €15, it should be €15. I didn't hear the rest of the conversation. I had other visitors with questions to attend to, but when I walked upstairs and told my other colleague about this, she got mad as hell. This woman is a tour guide, she should know how to behave. What if she does this in front of the visitors? They will think it's okay since she does it. And then they go around the museum touching everything. And since she didn't see her, she also asked for a description so she could warn the others to beware of her. Story 2. Karma gets Karen. Several years ago, I was a supervisor for a popular chain coffee store. It was around Christmas time, super busy, and only me with 2 other baristas working. One barista, Ruby, not her real name, hadn't had a break the entire shift, and even though we were busy, she had to go on break. Now it's just me and Cassie, not her real name, I'm making all drinks. Cassie is running back and forth from drive-through and lobby registers ringing up every customer. Finally, Ruby comes back from her break and there's a woman banging on the drive-through window. We didn't put whipped cream on her non-fat mocha. It's been years and I still remember this Karen's drink and bad red hair. Obviously, she wanted whipped cream on her drink but wants to know the name of the barista who rang her up because she was rude and slammed the window in her face. Cassie was a minor, under 18, and it was freaking December. I would not give her any information. Also, Cassie was one of those really smiley people who never gets upset. I tried to give Karen my name, my manager's business card, and several free drink coupons. But Karen would not take any of it. Instead, she turned her car off and parked it in the drive-through. I'm trying to reason with her. I tried to call the manager but got VM. Going back and forth with Karen for 5 minutes, IDK felt like forever. Finally, the customer in the drive-through line behind her gets out of her car, walks between Karen's car and the window, and says in a softest voice, I just want my drink. I'm apologizing to this nice lady, give her the drink for free, and we have someone help back the cars out of the drive-through. I'm thinking we need to block the drive-through entrance when Karen finally drives away. There's more. Next day, I come in at 9 a.m. and the store is slammed. But the manager is there and 7 other baristas when who walks in Karen. I start ringing her up and her card starts to decline. Swipe times 3. Declined, declined, declined. My manager is looking at her like a total loser, and I'm not sure if he knew that she was the Karen from the night before. The store is packed and Karen's friend ends up paying for her drink. I'm thinking, had you not been a total see you next Tuesday, you could have had like 5 free mochas. Then I get on the headset, which can talk to the drive-through, or you can talk to any others with headsets, and let everyone, including Cassie's boyfriend who was making her drink, know she was the lady from the previous night. So now you don't get the drink you wanted either. I know I'm petty. Story 3. Entitled Karen's in My Garden. On a property with a beautiful lawn, and it came with side garden running along the fence bordering the sidewalk. Full of herbs like mint, lavender and oregano, some small carrots and other stuff. Quickly learned that several older ladies in the neighborhood felt entitled to my garden. They were reaching through the fence posts up to their shoulders, going as far as their arm could reach, grabbing what they could and fill their plastic bags. They would wait till someone was out of the house or early in the morning to make their grab and run, so they were well aware they were in the wrong. Just knowing they were doing this whenever we were out of the house made my skin crawl. So I ripped out the garden. Less work for me now. It honestly became too much work and messy to have, but it wasn't a big deal and there was plenty of it to go around. I hate gardening, so it was a relief to get rid of. I also didn't like that the garden had become an invitation for thieving grannies to intrude on my property. I was planning on removing the garden eventually, but was not in a rush and didn't care enough. They just accelerated my plans to get rid of it all by fueling me with spite. If only they had asked and introduced themselves, I probably would have kept it a little longer. Edit: for the people getting mad at me for removing the garden, I do not like to garden, and I did not like this garden. It was in all honesty a terrible garden. It was poorly planned, jumbled together, messy with weeds everywhere, and even when cleaned up it looked rubbish. I have a black thumb, so I couldn't fix it if I tried. The garden had to go eventually. I just didn't care and wasn't in a rush until I learned they were staking out my property to trespass and take things from it when I wasn't home. So as petty does, I got rid of it 100% out of spite. Edit 2: I am not going to maintain a garden I don't want. So don't suggest how I could have kept it, because I was going to remove it anyways. Electric or barbed fences are not permitted where I live, so don't suggest that either. This includes chicken wire. I would have let them take all the plants home, roots and all, had they asked, but since they didn't and I'm petty, no plants for anybody. Edit 3: stop suggesting I plant poison ivy, poison oak or nettles. I want to be able to roll around my yard with my dog and enjoy it without a care. Edit 4: people accusing me of depriving poor old people from food. Ha! I live in a well-to-do area, and the only depriving I am doing is boomers who feel entitled to trespass on my property. This was a horrible garden of just herbs and some carrots that were the size of my pinky toe. Nobody is being deprived of any real food to speak of. For whatever reason, they just felt entitled to it, ignored me the day I moved in, damaged my fence, and planned their trespassing excursions when I left the house. Edit 5: people upset that this was boring. It's supposed to be. It's petty, i.e., small and trivial. I'm not going out of my way, drop a lot of money or waste my time to plan an elaborate revenge. I'm not going to hurt anyone. I'm just going to be petty.